Welcome to another episode of Tireless Wings TV. I'm your host, my name is Fabrizio Poli, and I'm here today to talk to you about the market in 2016. Now, there's going to be 5 things I think we have to look out for in the market in 2016. First of all, the number of ultra high net worth individuals, which means people that are worth more than $50 million, is on the increase. In fact, if we look at the figure today, there's more than 128,000 of these people worldwide compared to only 41,000 back in 2001. Now, this number is on the increase, and I think a lot of this, the fact that this is on the increase is because it's a lot easier today to do business internationally, and technology is really accelerating things. And we've got people like the Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, we've got the founders of Google. All these young people became billionaires before the age of 30. So we've got a lot of this, and I think in the next few years we're going to see more and more of this happen. So wealth is increasing, wealth is multiplying across the world. So obviously, as this happens, more of these people are going to be in the market for buying a private jet. The other thing that's driving the private jet market is also the increase in terrorist attacks. So more and more airplanes are exploding in the sky, more and more problems going through airports and having to now turn up 3 hours before a flight and then maybe even there's a delay and you're sitting around in an airport. And by the time you get on the airplane, the last thing you want to do is get your laptop out and work. So private jet is really, really convenient because you can drive up to the airplane 10 minutes before departure and off you go. And you're in your own environment, really relaxed, and off you go. So this is why 2 things there that are going to be things that we need to look for in the private jet market. But the big market for this year is the Indian market. Okay, India just over a year and a half ago elected an entrepreneur as Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. Now, Narendra Modi has been doing some great things for India, and what he's been doing is creating a structure, a system to help wealth creation. Okay, and one of the things he's done for aviation, and he's really hot on aviation, he's just basically approved a whole financing and project for the Dholera airport. And Dholera is going to be a new airport in the south of India, which is going to be an alternative to Dubai. And Dubai, they reckon, in the next 2 to 3 years is going to be pretty much saturated with traffic. And so if you are traveling from west to east, a good place to stop over is going to be this airport in India. And obviously that's going to bring a lot more business to India. But the other thing is, the ultra high net worths in India are on the increase big time, and they need private jets. So that's a real market there to look at. So I predict that this year, in 2016, we're going to see an increase in Indian people and Indian businesses buying and operating private jets. The other thing we have to look out for is finally, after 10 years of flying and testing, the HondaJet is out and flying, and the first HondaJet was delivered to its first owner just before Christmas. In fact, it was the day before Christmas. So what a great Christmas present, the HondaJet. Now, the HondaJet's a very particular private jet. It's got a very unique design where you can see the engines are actually on top of the wing and not under the wing or on the back of the fuselage. And this helps the aircraft to have less noise. It's also a small aircraft, but believe it or not, even though it's a small aircraft, it's got a very large baggage space. You can fit suitcases and quite a few golf clubs in the back there. It hasn't got much of a range, but that's what it was designed for. It's got about 1,200 mile range. But if you're up in Calgary and you want to go golfing in San Diego for the day, it'll get you there and back with your buddies and all stuff like that. So the HondaJet, I think Honda have taken their time. This is going to be the first private jet of many they intend to build. Okay, they took their time because they wanted to get it right. So I think as more and more people take delivery of their HondaJets and fly them around, they're going to be reporting that this is a great aircraft, and more people are going to be queuing up at Honda to order their HondaJet. The next thing I'd like to talk about is an Analects trend I see right now. In February of 2016, there's a high number of large cabin private jets, pre-owned private jets on the market, okay? And I've never seen this happen before. So what does that mean? Now, obviously, if you're in the market to buy a private jet and you're going to be flying a high number of hours, my suggestion is for you to buy either a new one or close to new, so maybe 2 to 3 years old. But if you're in the market and you need to buy a private jet because you need to get from A to B to C to D quickly, you need to get into those 5,000 airports that we have in the US, compared to the 500 where the airlines go to. You've got another 4,500 airports there where you can get in and out with a private jet. In Europe, we're talking about 3,500 airports, of which only 300 to 400 are serviced by the airlines. So there's a lot more airports you can get into with a private jet. So if you have that need, and you're not going to be flying a high number of hours, maybe 200 to 300 hours, now's the time to seriously look at buying yourself a large cabin aircraft, because there's quite a few on the market and you can really strike a good deal. The next thing, which I think is going to be one we have to watch, is the fact that in the United States right now, this year is an election year. And billionaire Donald Trump has jumped into the race and he's running for president. Now, Donald Trump owns private jets and private helicopters, and he knows the advantage these things have. So I reckon as we see his popularity grow over the next few months, it may be that he may get into the White House. And I think this will be a positive thing for private aviation, because Donald Trump is a businessman and he understands that a private jet is a business tool. It's not some gimmick for Victoria Beckham to buy so she can go to the hairdressers in Paris instead of going to the one in London, okay? This is a business tool. It saves you lots of time, it gives you flexibility, and it's also a safer way of traveling because you're on the airplane with your friends, with your colleagues, okay? That's also the airplane. You drive up to the airplane 10 minutes before the flight. There's none of this terrorist thing, delays, etc., etc., etc. So the private jet is a great, great advantage. And I think if Donald Trump gets into the White House, he's not going to only help private aviation and business in general in the United States, but this is going to have a knock-on effect on the rest of the world. And I think more and more people will be flying private. And that's all from me, from Fabrizio Poli at Tyrus Wings TV.